We are back here on the Lynne Hayes Freeland show. So, Doctor, I think it's important to note that we're going to still have protests. This issue around Mr. Floyd is going to go on for weeks, months. There are going to be protests, but you can do that safely. I mean, you're not saying to people, don't protest.
Correct. I will say there are many reasons to be upset and to be not okay with what's going on, but there's no reason that we can't be doing things responsibly and safely for our community. One example I wanted to share is that White Clothes for Black Lives did a demonstration just very recently where the plan was to have things done in actually a quiet demonstration for 8 minutes and 45 seconds to kneel as George Floyd had a knee kneeled on his neck. And so that powerful demonstration by healthcare staff, faculty, and professionals across multiple hospitals in Pittsburgh, kneeling down in solidarity, saying that this isn't okay, with distancing. And so then this is a way to do it safely. We're saying that it's not okay to have these inequalities occurring, but we can do it where we're not actually harming our communities as well. And so I urge folks to really try to think of ways to do things if you're going to be out there protesting safely, changing your mask, bring sanitizers, wash your hands. Please, 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 if you're pregnant, if you have immunosuppression type of diseases, if you have severe illnesses, stay home. I urge you to think of different ways to voice yourself. And to all young folks, I would like to say that the most important thing is that we are the movers and the shakers, the next generations that are really going to be setting a tone. Look at how much creativity came out of COVID. So use your creativity to find a way to stand up for what you believe in and to voice yourselves, but safely, because you care about those folks who are being hurt. So let us not also hurt our communities by spreading the virus.
And you know what? It's interesting because you have now twice mentioned change your mask, having that extra mask with you. And in all these conversations, that's the first time I've heard someone suggest that. And it makes perfect sense. Yeah. I always have that extra mask with you. Okay, let's talk about access, your doctor, getting care, getting testing. That's been a big challenge, but it sounds like now, Kiana, that there is more access to testing, but sometimes it always helps to have a doctor that you can talk to.
Absolutely. So I really want to make sure that people are aware that whether or not you have insurance or the funds to pay for your care, that we have federally qualified healthcare centers all throughout the county. And actually the Allegheny County Health Department has it listed on their website where all of those centers are located, and they offer free testing at all of their sites. And there's also a mobile van that goes around to different neighborhoods every day to offer free testing. So on Monday, tomorrow, they'll be in the Hill District. They'll be in Duquesne for 2 days during the week, and also Hazelwood. So there are organizations that are out there to help you, that can provide testing for you for free. Whether you're insured or underinsured, you can receive care. And also, if you don't have a primary care physician, the federally qualified healthcare centers also have primary care physicians there that can provide that care and continue on with your healthcare journey from this point forward. And it does not matter whether or not you have the funds to pay for that as well, which is also very important to know.
And you know, it's interesting for both of you as we kind of work towards wrapping this conversation up, because on Friday we saw the state go green. We saw everything kind of open back up. You know, that means restaurants. I guess it means bars. I mean, we don't even know what it all means. But I think at the end of the day, it also means that you have to be careful. You have to be mindful. We're hearing that, you know, they're going to start, we're going to learn more about schools opening back up, swimming pools, maybe. I mean, you know, this is all different than we thought. It just means we got to do things differently. So it seems to me like we all have to take a minute and just think about what we do. Would you say that's pretty accurate?
I agree 100%. I think it's on us to hold that responsibility to really be mindful. And so then even though things may open up and legally you can do things, you want to kind of take that extra precaution and think, is this smart? Is this going to be hurtful to my community? It's worth wearing a mask and washing your hands. It's not asking a lot, it is knowing. And we're wanting things to be the same. And I totally understand that. But it's worth saving lives, and it's worth getting on top of this pandemic and helping our communities even further, who are so disenfranchised, who are so underserved and underrepresented. And those are the ones, Black and brown lives do matter, and they're the ones being impacted the most by this virus. So I want everybody to really think about that.
Indeed. And Kiani, I'm gonna let you have the last word, just because I think it's so awesome to have a young person here talking to other young people, because sometimes you guys are the hardest ones to reach.
Yes, we can be a very stubborn group of individuals, that's for sure. However, I just want to make sure that people know, especially young people, that even though we're approaching this green phase and a lot of things are opening up, that whenever we're walking out of the door, to make that decision to do something that may be fun or just social, think about if we have to go, think about if we have to do that. And if we are going to go, think about who we're coming home to, so that if we're going to a place that can have high exposure, that we can social distance and quarantine ourselves for 14 days after doing that. That is so important to know, that if we're going to make the decision to go out there to that pool party or to the bar, that we have to quarantine for 14 days so that we don't expose our communities and our loved ones to what we may be carrying, because we may be asymptomatic, meaning we may not have those symptoms that are typical for COVID-19, but we can still pass that on to other people. So just being mindful of who we can be exposing, and just trying to think about, do I have to go there? Do I have to do that? And also just trying to get creative with the ways that we can have fun and still interact with people in a safe way by distancing and wearing our mask and washing our hands for at least 20 seconds.
I tell you what, one night, 14 days, I'm not sure it's worth it. Thank you so much for joining us today. Lots of good information. We appreciate you. I'll be back in just a second to say goodbye, but I thank you so much for your information today. We'll take a break and be right back. It's important that we remember George Floyd. It's important that we keep the issue surrounding George Floyd foremost in our minds, but let's not risk everything trying to do that. Keep safe. And remember, if you're in a large crowd, you may have to quarantine, so be careful out there. We'll see you next week. Okay. Now, am I like on the speaker in there?